Do we live in simulation? In a simulation? For some reason, people want to know. For some reason, for somebody is very important. And I remember in on the first or second year of university, I think I received D on my philosophy course, and it was the only time in my life I wanted to end my own life, because philosophy was my very important subject, and I thought I was very good in philosophy, and then I received D. That's it. End of life. Like, if I am bad in philosophy, then what's the point of living, right? So, but the subject on the paper in philosophy was about facts, and I was a psychology student, and I wrote that my perspective on facts from a perception view, that it depends on our perception, how we perceive facts, regardless of what's going on in reality, in a basic reality. What does matter is how we perceive it. So basically, we don't know really. I don't know what happens in reality, because I only know it through my lenses of perception, through my conditioning, through my lenses, my life experiences lenses. Did So we are born as not tabula rasa. I don't believe that we are born as a blank sheet of paper, that then all the experiences are written. We are born with a blueprint already, and then we have this blueprint. Then conditioning and socializing and parenting, everything adds on, and very often blueprint is broken, and then we can remember who we are. That's the essence of my legislative coaching program or approach. When you are remembering who you really are, it's kind of deconditioning, like in human design. How it's connected to simulation? I believe that to know if we live in simulation or in real reality, because we will never know what is important. How do you feel about that? Is it That's why I named the life knowing that you live in simulation or not, versus feeling with your body. What do you feel? How do you feel? How do you feel? That it's more important, I believe, than knowing where you um, living. There was an example of a person writing a book peacefully in a closed room. He doesn't know that he's closed. Is he free? He doesn't know that he's closed and he cannot go outside, but he's peacefully in his flow state of activity that he likes, and he's immersed in this lovely um, book writing. He's happy. He doesn't know that he's not free in a physical way. He feels free in this activity. So, not knowing that he is not free in this moment, is he free? Is he in real reality? So we can scale it to the question of a simulation, right? What Another thing, I do believe that it's more important if we have a free will and freedom of choice, whether it's in simulation or outside of simulation. Um, in the recent in the recent hi in the recent interview Musk and Joe Rogan, they have discussed simulation. And when Rogan asked, "Do you believe we live in simulation?" and Musk started with example of the rockets, that we do simulation when we try to get the rockets, da, da, da. Like, we do simulations, not somebody does simulation on us and we are participants in somebody's situation. We do simulations to get to some outcome that we want to get. Like, we have free will, we have some desires, we have some plans, we have some results in our mind that we want to get to. So, are we those who run the simulations? Uh, yeah, simulations. In those cases, yes, we are running simulations for those rockets, right? In those examples, are there other entities who run their simulations and we are part of their simulations? Might be. And in the theory that I believe, that we are states of the whole conscious quantum field, which is everything, and we are parts or states of, like, how it shows up in different states, and each of us and plants and animals, everything is states of this field. And so through unique experiences, this field develops itself. So in this way, is this field is the entity who runs the simulation, or is it decentralized, or is it centralized? I don't know. Do I care? I don't care, really. I believe um, I believe that we are parts of the whole, and that's why we do need to care about each other and about the purpose of each other. And in the end of the day, we serve to the same purpose of developing, expanding, improving of the whole. We might not know what's the ultimate goal of the whole, but we might feel it. Like, the feeling of peace when you come to nature and you see it. um, I know the feel. I know the feeling of safety when I'm in the woods, even alone. When you can get rid of those fear thoughts about animals coming to you and eating you. Like, when you are away from those thoughts, there is a space when you're calm, alone in the nature, and you feel the safety of being one in the nature. So this is the body. This is the feeling of oneness with nature that tells me that I'm a part of this whole. And is it simulation? I don't know, but I have the free will. And why I think that we do have free will. Why I believe that we have free will, because, and Musk said that something, that the most interesting way is the most probable, because for somebody who runs simulation, if there's a simulation, it would be the most interesting way of running simulation. Otherwise it would be boring. But my thing, oh, okay, I don't know if it's simulation or not, but free will is the basis for genuine development. I have a funny example. I tried to play the game with my almost 4 years old daughter. I don't know, plus and zero, how it's tic-tac-toes or something. Um, yes, we are all connected. I believe we are all different versions of each other. Well, not of each other, but I believe that we are different versions or different manifestations of the whole. like this conscious quantum field, and that it experience itself through different states. That's how I see it. And then we need free will for each state to experience itself through different experiences, parenting, traumas, bad or good, right? But it's unique ways of experiences, as so the whole would um, genuinely and unpredictably develop itself. That's why we need free will for each state. Because when we try to play the game, she says, let's agree. First, I want to win, then you will win. And I'm like, what's the point to play the game for me if I know that you will win and then I will win? What's the point? I like, there is no interest for me to play the game if I already know who wins when. And for for her, she's almost 4. It is like the safety, like emotional safety, I guess. Like, okay, I will win, I will not suffer from losing, and you will win. And I try to get this kind of, not a competitive spirit, but the the point of playing the game, the joy of unknown and the joy of experimenting and playing. And it shouldn't be like somebody wins, somebody loses. No, it's just a playing. We are play two states of the field playing together, right? And towards the unknown outcome, and we develop each other in this play. That's why we need free will. And if we agree that somebody wins here, somebody wins here, there is no free will here. We agree on certain outcome. So that's why I think that whether it's simulation or not, we need free will. Even in simulation, to make the game interesting, we need free will for the participants. Or I'm not a gamer, so what you call the characters in the game, right? They need free will to make the game interesting. So that's why multiple participants, like when you play with somebody, is more interesting. When you play online with other players around the world, is even more interesting. So there is element of unpredictability. You cannot control their behavior. You cannot control their train of thoughts. Like, that's the essence of interest, like collaboration, even competition in a way. um, of the source and the source experience itself through us. Yeah, I source. Yeah, you can call it source. Different people call it different ways. I really like the uh, the the theory. I'm not sure. I heard once from Federica Fagin, Italian. He's an Italian American physicist. I'm not sure if he's physicist. He's for sure IT guy who created uh, first semiconductors in Silicon Valley in 70s or 80s or 90s. I don't remember. But this is his theory of conscious quantum field and its states. So he tries to explain quantum kind of mechanics, but for me, as psychologist by education, conscious was the word that why I paid attention. So conscious quantum field and conscious, however you explain what is a conscious in today's world, it's very important, because with AI, with physics, it's very important, conscious, but different people explain or define this word differently. And of course, in AI marketing, they will use it as they want, even without understanding what is it. They will try to sell you conscious AI. soon, very soon, AGI, whatever they call it. Um, but we don't have a unified theory of consciousness, whatever it might be. We don't really understand how brain works and how mind works. Brain is physical, and we still don't understand to the fullest how it works. How can we create something like brain, or as an artificial brain or artificial consciousness or intelligence, without fully understanding our own? But yeah, my talking is about simulation versus basic reality, which is what the way how we perceive whatever is here, and different people perceive different reality, and there are a lot of studies and experiments. We call a certain wavelength color the same names, but who knows how we see them. You might call red color and I call red color, but what color we see those waves, we might see different shades, but those shades you call red, and my color shades I call red, so we we call them red. um, I feel like we create our own reality, like the placebo effect. Like placebo effect. How come? In what way? Placebo effect, it's like taking a pill when somebody says it's a have has some effect, like this pill will help you sleep, and it's a sugar pill actually, which doesn't help you sleep, and it helps you sleep because you believe it helps you sleep. So like whenever we believe it's true, yeah, that's the essence of manifestation, right? Or how it's called, the movie, not the movie, but documentary, The Secret. Affirm. I forgot the secret. The documentary, The Secret. It's about not the affirmation. When you believe it, it becomes not manifestation, but it's almost manifestation. Manifesting your reality. Manifestation is like you feel what you want to have. You you become that frequency. I don't know how. I mean, you can imagine. The power of imagination is very strong. You imagine. I tried it with my cat when she was um, how to say, st- struck by the car on the road, and she was dying, and I was like trying the loud manifestation. I created a video. I want her to be alive in these conditions, and she's alive, and she can still jump on the fences, so she's what I wanted her to be. So I went to that frequency. I believed those things so hard, and I vocalized them. So I believe that this is the manifestation. Um, Whatever we believe, it's true. So you need to believe like the very hard belief, but you need to change your frequency also. Like you have to leave that frequency, and it's not instant, but people say the more often you um, practice it, the easier it becomes. The more practice the more often you practice getting into the frequency, the easier it becomes to get into the frequency, and the easier it, the faster it kind of gets into your reality. I'm not that consistent in practicing it, but if something serious happens, I'm all in, and it worked. But I'm not very consistent in less serious or in a bigger ways that, like, yeah, I would love um, to live by the sea, by the ocean, but I guess it's not that painful that I live in a good area not by the ocean. So the gap is not that painful right now. Uh, how do I change my frequency of healing to healing? Frequency to healing. I believe that we need, in my story, when and when I'm thinking about my situation and my story, like history, and about my clients, I think we need to hit our bottom. However it sounds, we need to hit our bottom when we say, like, no, I don't want to tolerate it anymore. Unless we hit this, we cannot sprint from that. Whether it's health, whether it's like economic, whether it's just mental, something like, I don't want to think this, or I don't want to do those things. But it should be quite, all people are different, but in my case, it's like I have to hit the bottom. It would be, I guess, more wise to do it earlier, but I cannot. I I guess it's my pattern. Maybe I will learn differently. Maybe I tweak it somehow later in life, but maybe when I grow, my bottom will be not that low. So hitting the bottom will be a higher standard for me. The bottom will be higher, so I will not need to fall that deep. You know what I mean? So my bottom will be higher, not like, but still I believe it's something with the body. Like, I believe we need to feel it with the body and then sprint out from that to change. Simulation or reality, I feel whatever we perceive is our reality. But why we perceive this way, it might be from our childhood, why we perceive that, and we can change it. Because I really love to challenge my clients' views, and when they say, oh, that's natural for me, and I'm like, really, is it natural for you to be people pleasing, people pleaser in your 30s? Is it natural? When was your first time you had to do it? And like, yeah, my father was a alcoholic or with mental issues. I had to be tiptoeing around, and like, all right, do you think then it wasn't natural, it was a adaptation to situation as a child, it was for your safety and survival. So now you are safer, now you're adult, now you can change your patterns. So you can change your patterns and you can change your perception of reality. Now your reality may be perceived as safer, and then it's like, uh, um, stepping up on the stairs, uh, standing on these stairs, you see this horizon. Then you work on your perception or patterns. Then you work on them. You say, okay, now it's not. Now the safety is different right now. Now it's safe to not to people please. Up one step. Now you see different picture. Now you can do different things in your life. Now your perception changed. Now your reality changed, right? And so it, that's that's why the states of um, conscious quantum field are always changing. That's why it's not particles, it's states, because it's dynamic. We are always changing. The experiences of other people changing us, like influence us. That's why we have this interconnectedness. That's why I finished these podcasts, uh, watching podcasts, and I had so many thoughts. That's why I'm here sharing those thoughts with you. That's why we have this conversation. Thank you for being here. Probably you had some thoughts from this conversation for you. Maybe something changed in your life. Maybe you will share something with other people in conversation. Maybe they will think about something. Like that's how it like states, interactions with other states, and that's how the whole develops. That's so interesting. Yeah, and does it really matter if it's simulation or not? Why we it feels like there is a kind of a bug. Why it's so important to know? It's more important to feel. What do you feel? What's your body feel? That's why I'm really into human design, because it's about experimenting, and it's about body being a decision making thing. It's not the mind. Mind is really hackable. It is easy hackable. Body is how you body is also hackable with trauma. Okay, it's very it can be shut down, it can be hijacked, but when we remember ourselves, body is your decision making tool. We always change. I'm just happy to be here understanding you. Thank you. Dream feel real. Dream feel real. Dream, like a dream as a kind of, you dream about something, or dream when you sleep. In English it's the same word. Dreams feel real, like goals. Dreams like goals. um okay. When you sleep, some people say it's different reality, and like we change in realities when we sleep. We Yeah, when we sleep we get to different worlds. It's interesting. But and we forget, so we can function normally in this world, and then we go back in different reality, and mind functions or brain functions differently there. Yeah, sometimes it's real, but then others say that it's integration of this walking life, and integration is how we re- kind of understand what's going on here, and then we pack it and store it in our mind and memory in a way that it integrates in all our past, I guess, through the dreams maybe, or maybe integrates into the whole. I don't know. Interesting. Why do I forget sometimes? I don't know. I don't know. What's the purpose of it? Everything has purpose, right? Why why we forget some things and we remember those stupid songs from 90s that I remember a lot. My husband wonders why I remember all those songs and I don't remember some memorable moments from our dates and times together. And he remembers, I remember songs. I don't know. What about deja vu? It feels like I've been there before or did it before. Yeah, that's another thing. Was it us? Or maybe somebody else in different body? Like, soul traveling, a soul in different body was there, but this body wasn't there, but soul in previous body was there. How about that? Bodies are dispensable and they are finite, but souls are not. Or maybe we sometimes connect to the whole, how do they call, uh, collective. So we connect to the collective in the field. I had a deja vu in UK, some castle. I was 13 years old. We traveled to UK and we stayed for 2 weeks. Learned English language, and we went to a castle. And I had deja vu in a rose garden, and like, sure, I've never been there. First time in, like, in a foreign country, and maybe it was a connection to some collective to feel like, yeah, but what's the purpose of this feeling? Yeah, so tricky. Yeah, is it a glitch? Can we consider it as a glitch in simulation? Or uh, I there's a book, there's a beautiful book of written by a Russian psychiatrist, but about shamans. If you're into it, I love shamanism. I'm not into it, but I really like how it's psychiatrist explored shamanism. Entering a cycle, I think it's called. And there was the idea that other civilizations, they kind of overlapping with our civilization, other like dimensions overlapping with our, and they sometimes communicate us, and they allow our dimension communicate with their, and so we have this kind of glitches. That's how we grow or develop our civilization, like with these strange connections. And like, whoa, somebody had this, like, for example, Dmitry Mendeleev, it's from my history, who created this periodic table of chemical elements. And he said he got it from dreams. Like, what's that, right? What's that? He, like, it was kind of connection to a different dimension, and this highly structured table of chemical elements was taken from that. Interesting. I've been there before, but yeah, you're right, it could have been something else in my body, or different body, or but my essence remembered. Yeah. See, my essence. So when you say my essence, is it when we say my essence, meaning the whole? Because some people say that God is inside of each of us. So I don't say God, but I say this field or nature, whatever, is inside of each of us. So when I say I, it this nature or field or God speaks, right? I. When I say I, it's the state of I, and each of us is the state of this I. However strange it starts to sound in this video. Yeah, I guess I need to. It's a beautiful conversation. Thank you. See um, how easy to talk to a person. I don't know you. I don't even know who are you, and it's so comfortable to talk to you. And so we are we. We are we. You are you, and me, and we are we. That's that's the level of comfort with the unknown that like I was so kind of discomfort of, judgment, I guess, from my clients in the beginning. Now I'm going to the initial session or intake session, like, let's see, I am so excited to know another person, the new person. Let's see. And I'm so comfortable with the unknown, because maybe, just maybe, this theory that we are states of one and another person is another manifestation of the same essence as me, it kind of gives me a sense of comfort that we are one, and this kind of essential trust. How about that? And if something bad happens, I don't say you're bad, but I ask why, what happens. Out of there was oh, it's YouTube, but on my Instagram I shared the video when what we do if a person who we love does something strange, like aggressive to us. We don't say you're a bad person. We say, what happens to you? What happens in your life, in your day? What happens to you? Like, we don't say you're a bad person. We ask what happens to you when something, like when a person we love and we know that they love us, um, does something aggressive to us. We don't understand, like a sense of curiosity. So what if we start with the sense of curiosity to each person who does aggressive or bad to us, not just saying you are bad people, go away, or like let's punish them, but asking, why do you think, do you do that, why? And maybe, just maybe, we can change the world with this why, and like genuinely trying to understand why. I like to get to know people's life and help them feel better. I feel that way to comfort. That's true. Asking, are you okay? I believe we all need help. Yeah, yeah. Like open hearts. Um, there's a lot of disbelief. It comes from our childhoods, I guess, that we come into the world's open hearts, and then we have to close because the world we come to sometimes is very aggressive to us, and we don't understand why, and to survive we have to close as 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 children. Many, very many of children have to close, and then it's very hard to trust again. So we need other people later in life to trust again, to help us to trust again. And as adults, we need each other to 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 create space so other people would be willing and safe to trust again. That's the only way, I guess. I believe understanding people helps them and me. Yes, because I think we are the one, the whole one. Thank you. Thank you for the conversation. And yeah, I remind it was about simulation or not simulation. And it's like 40 minutes already. I thought it will be like 15. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Have a great day and bye.